You are listening to
the Outcast Frequency.
An hour of music, myth, and mayhem for the misfits. Hosted by yours truly,
the Master of Mischief.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're listening. And welcome back to another thrilling episode of the Outcast Frequency. Coming up this week, we have a jam-packed show for you with a variety of different types of music, from jangly, upbeat indie to classic rock ballads to experimental metal, some psychedelic proggy vibes, and a bit of electronic. It really is a full show, so there'll be less talking from me, more music, which I'm sure you're all thrilled about. Let's kick things off then and dive straight in with an artist called Tyler Beans. We've got two tracks from him on this week's show, one now and one later on. Let me tell you a bit about him. He's from Los Angeles, and he's just dropped his second full-length album in under a year. So it's safe to say it's been a productive 12 months for him. The first record was called Beans, and it came out in April 2025. And his newest album, Elevator Movies, came out in January of this year, so pretty recent. The track we're going to hear right now is off his first album, so the one that came out last year. It's a fun, upbeat, feel-good song to get everyone in a good mood to start off the show, and it's called Puppets Off Their Strings, which Tyler describes as a genre-bending party for the freaks. Let's check it out.
Pain, need a trip and okay.
Puppets Off Their Strings by Tyler Beans. And if you enjoyed that, we're going to be hearing more from Tyler later on in the show. But you can give him a follow on Instagram and on YouTube Music, where he goes under Tyler Beans. That's Beans, by the way. Beans is in what you eat. Tyler Beans _music. Next up, we're going to hear from an artist called Nick Luddite. Luddite. Nick Luddite. He is the alter ego of Nick Davies, a Sheffield-based songwriter and multi-instrumentalist. Now, Sheffield is actually not that far from where I am, so fellow Yorkshireman. He has been musically active since the very beginnings of punk in 1976, and he is featured in a number of bands, most notably the Cornish-based Gatty the Keeper, and the Sheffield bands Hanging On to Harry, and the critically acclaimed The Janksies. More recently, he was a founding member of Electric Luddites, and was a multi-instrumentalist in Luddites UK, alongside songwriting partner David Pascal. He's played widely throughout the UK and in Europe, as well as appearing on TV and radio. A particular highlight for him was representing Cornwall as the lead singer and guitarist of the band Penna Lawenda in the Pan-Celtic Song Contest. This involved him writing a song in English about celebrated Cornish martyr Michael and Goth, and then being taught to sing it phonetically after it had been translated into the Cornish language. That sounds pretty insane, doesn't it? That sounds hard. I don't think I could do that. That sounds hard, man. Nick is a recovering alcoholic. Well done. Damn, nice one, man. He's now been sober and clean for a number of years. His solo work is often deeply personal, and it touches on his experiences and characters he encountered before and after recovery, in the hope that other people might be inspired in their own journey. His latest release is the single Elemental, and it was released in January of this year. It's available on all digital platforms, all your usual streaming platforms. During 2024, he challenged himself to write, record and release a song each month. That's insane. I couldn't do that. There's just no way. I just couldn't be bothered. Too lazy. But all power to you, man. These songs were a mixture of solo work and collaborations with other artists. He currently has further collaborations in the pipeline and due for 2026 release. Wow, so there's plenty of stuff coming up from Nick this year that you can look out for. And these collabs include a duet with acclaimed and award-winning Viennese artist Black Marine. That's pretty cool. Getting international. So Nick can be found on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and TikTok, so everywhere. And he often posts videos of acoustic performances of his songs from his studio. So there's a wide variety of content that people can enjoy other than just the singles. For now though, let's hear that single we were talking about. It's called Elemental, and this is what Nick had to say about it. He said, sometimes big things happen. Sometimes things that seem very small happen, and at the time they don't seem to be significant, but then later on they turn out to be. So this is Elemental by Nick Luddite.
Tectonic plates are shifting, the desert winds are howling, and there's a crack in the sky, and we're no longer drifting. Please forgive the drama, but this could be the very end, with so much left unsaid, too much left unsaid. I'm not being sentimental, but this seems elemental. shifting. Hold hands as the sky turns black and all the gods are raging. There can be no going back, and there are no reasons, just ancient predictions, sand falling from the sky, and too much left unsaid. I'm not being sentimental, but this seems elemental. Well, I'm not being sentimental, and I'm trying to be gentle, but this seems elemental. Oh, this is elemental.
Yeah, that was Elemental by Nick Luddite. And if you like that track, you can find him on all of your streaming platforms and pretty much every main social media platform. He just goes under his name, Nick Luddite, which is Luddite. So please go check him out, give him a follow, and continue to support upcoming artists. Moving on, we're going to hear from a musician, composer, and songwriter called Chris Crecsy. Krecsy. Now, Chris describes himself as just a normal guy. He's just your everyday guy. Music is his hobby and his passion, and it's something that he's been pursuing for many, many years, just more as an outlet than anything else. Now, though, he's started to get more comfortable in sharing his art with the world. So if you're looking to hear more of his stuff, he is on Spotify and anywhere else that you normally stream your music. He released a full-length album in 2016. Then last year, a number of singles throughout the year, followed by his latest record, The Second Coming, which came out in January of this year. So this is what he had to say about it. The Second Coming is a very personal, independent release. It leans into themes of emotional scars, resilience, mental health, and coming back changed rather than fixed. The songs aren't about easy answers, more about honesty, endurance, and learning to carry what you've lived through. Tracks like The Inflammatory Tin Man, Had To, and Rain really captured the heart of the record. I handle the songwriting and creative direction myself, and the album reflects a hands-on, independent process from start to finish. It was a long road to get it written and recorded, almost 10 years. I actually wanted to release 9 songs as part of the album, but had already released 4 as singles prior to getting the last 5 ready. All 9 go together well in the concept and theme of the album, for sure, but the 5 included on the album really align with a singular theme that flows really well. Each song has its own story and are about huge events in my life. I wanted them to hit hard and be as real as possible, even if they are pretty dark. Alright, so as he said, it's a deeply personal album, that each of the songs are about things that have happened to him in his own real life. Alright, so the track we're going to hear is called Inflammatory Tin Man, and it's actually about Chris's personal and lifelong struggle with tinnitus, which, if anyone doesn't know, that's when you hear like constant ringing and stuff in your ears. Which I imagine is really infuriating. I've had it like a little bit after, after you go to a concert or a festival, and then you wake up in the morning and it's just like, but yeah, it normally kind of like fades away after a while. But people that struggle with this, they have it like constantly. It's just always sort of there in the background. And more recently, Chris has been dealing with chronic pain, which was amplified by a mild stroke he had a couple of years back. So, dude's been going through it, It's a hard-hitting song, and it's not exactly cheerful, given the subject matter, but it's definitely a vibe. And it's got that old classic rock bluesy soul feel to it, which I like. So let's give it a listen.
So sore again and can't feel my arm. I roll out of bed and my leg says me too. I drop to the floor, don't know what to do. And then that ringing in my ears, it's so loud I could scream. Day after day, been happening for years. The nightmare is real, this isn't a dream. The inflammatory tin man, lethargic chronic pain. It gets harder by the day now. It's driving me insane. No rest for the wicked, can't catch a fucking break. We'll see what the day brings with the painkillers I'll take. There's that ringing in my ears, it's so loud I could scream. Day after day, been happening for years. The nightmare is real, this isn't a dream. The inflammatory tin man, and his subject chronic pain. It's getting harder by the day now, and it's driving me insane.
That was Inflammatory Tin Man by Chris Crexy. You can find him on Instagram and Facebook under Chris Crexy, Krecsy, and check out his music on your usual streaming platforms. We're going to hear something a little bit heavier now, courtesy of a Belgian band called the Mars Model. So, formed in 2019, the Mars Model has delivered a unique blend of dark wave and punk rock, pulsing synth layers, tight bass lines, and a live energy that is both hypnotic and explosive. With multiple releases, powerful music videos, and countless intense shows under their belt, the band has earned its place in the underground scene, not without setbacks and challenges, but it's exactly that which makes TMM, the Mars Model, sound harder, rawer, and more convincing than ever. Today, 2,700 fans are already following them on Facebook. It might even be more now. You never know. This is just what I'm reading from the press release, but that's pretty good. Well done, guys. Coming from a punk, hardcore, rock, metal, and gothic scenes. So this is proof of the versatility. Can't speak. This is proof of the versatility and strength of their model. Those who were there know that these are not empty words. TMM previously played at Rat Rock, Sinner's Day, and recently supported Gang of Four at Le Grand Mix in France. The band features former members of Liar, Definitivos, I probably said that wrong, Plan C, Walter Law, The Heartbreakers, and others. So far the band have released 2 EPs and a number of singles. We're going to hear the very latest single of theirs, which is called Hand in Glove, and it came out last month. So let's get it. Yes, boys, that was the Mars model with Hand in Glove. Love that. You can give those guys a follow on Instagram and Facebook. You can find them the_Mars_model_official. So the Mars model official, but don't forget the underscores in between each word. And of course, stream their music across all your usual platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, blah blah blah. Wherever you normally stream your music, the Mars model. So thank you so much, guys, for being part of the show. We're going to take things in a more sprawling, psychedelic, proggy direction now. Travelling from Belgium to London and catch up with a band called Tea for the Wicked. Now, these guys have been around for a good while, man. They've just been having fun, vibing on the scene. They formed in late 1991 by Arthur Roach, vocals, keyboards, acoustic guitar, harmonica, Tony Hands, guitar and vocals, and after the breakup of another band, Sons of Hedon, they recruited Jack Greger, bass, and Steve Shaw, drums. So in March 1992, they started playing gigs around London, the Midlands, and South East England. They started out as a new version of Sons of Hedon, but with a lot of new material coming in, they changed up and they became Tea for the Wicked. So they released their first album in 1992, and are now on their fourth studio album, which came out in January of this year. The band have actually submitted 2 tracks for the show, but because they're both long and epic songs, we're going to split them up and have them played on 2 different shows. So you'll be hearing from Tea for the Wicked on this week's show, and then on the next Outcast Frequency show, you'll hear another song from them too. So we're going to give you a sort of full and varied history on this band, starting with this track from their 3rd album, Wicked Teapot. So this is what we're going to hear this week, and on the next show we'll hear something else. So this track is called The Big Issue. Yo, I did tell you it was long and epic, right? So that was The Big Issue by Tea for the Wicked. You can find those guys on Bandcamp. They have 4 albums up there and a couple of live albums. On the next show, we're going to hear a track from their brand new album, which is their 4th studio album, Tea at Threads. But if you want to get a sneak preview of that ahead of the show, do go check it out on Bandcamp. Thank you so much, guys, for submitting to be on the show, and I look forward to playing your next track very soon. We are going to dip things down a bit now and chill you all out a bit with a sort of ballad, I suppose. This is actually one of the slowest, most chilled out songs we've probably ever played on the Outcast frequency. But it does have a bit of a heavier section as it goes through. It's got a country outlaw type of vibe, which I don't really mind at all, to be honest. And it's by a guy named James Gregory. So this guy's based out of Nashville. So you can see why there's going to be a bit of a country influence. But he's also influenced by grunge, and he's described himself as having rock roots. He delivers dark, honest songs with a sense of hope, and describes his music as raw, melodic, and real. So far, he's released 4 singles, all of which you can find up on Spotify and your usual streaming platforms. You can give him a follow on Instagram at jgregorymusic, and he has his own website too, jgregorymusic.com. This is one of his latest singles, and it's called I Ain't Your Dog, which he described as a song about breaking free. Let's give it a listen.
It should be easy, but it won't. And it just kills me, 'cause I know your eyes wander, your body goes, losing self-control. You kept me in my place, in this cage alone, but you never locked the door. Well, I'll be full or scorn, 'cause I ain't your dog. No, I ain't your dog no more. I keep running miles before the sun. I got the feeling of freedom in my lungs. I hear you screaming, but tell me what's it for, 'cause I ain't your dog.
That was I Ain't Your Dog by James Gregory. See what I mean about it's quite chilled out, country vibes, but like with a rock element too, yeah? Be sure to give him a follow on Instagram, J Gregory Music. And yeah, thanks for being part of the Outcast Frequency. Now, if you've been listening since the start, you'll recall we opened up this week's show with a fun little jangly indie kind of song from a guy called Tyler Beans. And I did mention that we were going to hear another track from him. Well, I wasn't lying. We are. A bit of a recap on Tyler. He's from LA. And he's just dropped his second full-length album in under a year. The first record was called Beans, came out last year. And his newest album, Elevator Movies, came out just last month in January. We're going to hear a song off that album now. It's called Radical Thoughts. That was Radical Thoughts by Tyler Beans. And if you like that, you can check out his stuff on your usual streaming platforms. And also give him a follow on Instagram and on YouTube Music, where he goes under Tyler Beans _music. So as we approach the end of our magical hour together, I'd just like to take a moment to remind people about how they can submit to the show. So if you are in a band, or if you're an artist, solo artist, and you think that your music fits the right kind of vibe for this show, I would love to hear from you. So you can just drop me an email, outcastfrequency@sonicscoutradio.com, or you can message me on Instagram, where you can find me under Master of Mischief Official. So in the first instance, all you need to do is just send me a link to the song that you're thinking of submitting. So it can be on Spotify or YouTube or a Bandcamp link, whatever you like. Send me a link to the song. Say, hey, I'm thinking of submitting this song to be on your show. I will give it a listen, and if I think it's going to be a good fit, I will then invite you to submit officially. So how to do that is you would download the Sonic Scout Radio app and then fill out the form to submit your track. I'd recommend everyone download the app anyway, because it's the easiest way to listen to your favourite Sonic Scout Radio shows, and it is available for Apple and Android. Another thing is, I would really like to hear from some of the people that listen to this show. So on Sonic Scout, we get listener statistics. So I get told roughly an average of how many people are listening to my show, and that's all I get told. It's just a number, right? And I don't know who any of these people are. So, but I would like to. You know, so if you are a listener of the show and you just enjoy listening to the music and finding new recommendations for bands, please do get in touch and let me know that you listen to the show. And then, you know, I can take requests, I can chat to you, and I can get to know the audience a bit better, which would be nice. So yeah, if you're a listener, get in touch too. Just drop me a message on Instagram. Alright. Let's get on with the final part of the show. It's time for
The Outcast Anthem.
That's right, folks. It's time for this week's Outcast Anthem. Let me tell you a bit about it. The Outcast Anthem is all about songs that either punch you in the face musically or lyrically. They could be absolute bops and bangers that you just want to jump about and rock out to. Or they could be lyrically rebellious, hard-hitting, written for the misfits and the outcasts. Either of those, or both, could be both at the same time. But they generally fit into one of those categories, and I will just choose it from the submissions that I have for each week's show. That's how it works. So the track I've chosen for the Outcast Anthem this time around is actually a protest song about ice. So you can see why it fits the bill. Now, obviously, as you can tell from my accent, I'm not from the US myself. I don't live there. I have been there. I quite like it, actually. I wouldn't go there right now. But I have enjoyed myself in the States many times. But I actually don't know whether you guys call it ICE or ICE. But whenever I see it written down, I definitely just read it as ICE. So that's what I'm going with. Anyway, we all know what the deal is with that. And it's an issue that pretty much everyone is talking about on a regular basis. So first off though, let me tell you a little bit more about the artist. Or rather, I will let the artist speak for himself, because he did write us a little bit of a bio and he sent it in to me, so I will just read this out. My stage name is Sin. That's with 2 Y's and 1 N. So SYYN. I've been doing music related stuff for almost 20 years now, based in Tri-Cities, WA. And again, not being from America, my state abbreviations aren't the best. But I'm going to presume that a lot of people do know what that means. Tri-Cities, WA. I started as a local house party underground rave DJ in 2008. That sounds super cool. I love you already. Eventually gaining residency at a local club. In 2012, I began my music production. I spent a few years producing a wide variety of dance music genres, from electro, house, hardstyle, drum and bass, dirty Dutch, and more. But by 2014, I started stepping away from DJing and the club scene and settling down to refine my production skills outside of EDM. I focused heavily on symphonic, and orchestral techniques and writing, as well as improving my dark wave, a genre that has always been close to my heart. In 2021, I released my first official debut track, First Contact, in the mid-tempo genre, a callback to my EDM roots. Since then, I have put extra effort into creating my own sound within the dark wave and dark electronic music scenes, releasing my first EP, In the Shadow of Masters, featuring heavy dance vibes and also deep lyrical meaning. This year, I plan on releasing at least 2 songs a month. Wow, that's a lot, man. 2 songs a month. Fair play to anyone who does that. 2 songs a month, with last month having released both Call to Action, an anti-capitalism anthem, as well as Heater, an ICE protest song. So that is the one that we're going to hear. Spoiler alert, that's the one we're going to hear. As a citizen of the US, I am adamantly aware of current events pertaining to ICE, ICE. Having seen the transgressions perpetuated over the weeks, it sort of lit a fire somewhere inside. I knew that it would land me in a spot of trouble if everything down to the title was aggressive or threatening. So I decided to try and make sure that it was as succinct as it was vague. Anyone that knows the details will pick them out easily. Anyone else would just hear something vaguely relatable. I know it's common for kids these days to refer to firearms as a heater. I did not know that. We don't really have very many firearms over here, I guess, so I've not heard that before. And also maybe I'm just not gangster enough, I don't know. But yeah, that is an interesting fact that I have now learned. Thank you. I know it's common for kids these days to refer to firearms as a heater, so I decided to make it the slogan/headline of the track and the title of the track, hoping to emphasise that when you're armed and ready to use it, you can prevent atrocities. So if you like the sound of sin, the sound of sin, I like that. Anyway, what I mean is, if you want to hear more from this dude, if you like the sound of sin, he's got plenty more music out and up on his Spotify and other streaming platforms. And obviously, he speaks a lot about current issues. So if that's something you're passionate about, then you probably dig his stuff. You can also follow him on Instagram, where he goes by official_sin. And don't forget, it's SYYN. But yeah, let's give this track a listen. This is this week's Outcast anthem, Heater by Sin.
Ice. Pull out the heater. You think you're secret? You think you're safe? That mask won't save you. We know your face. It's on the TV. It's on our screens. You won't sleep soundly. For justice, we will scream. This is real. The time has come. Surface deep, our rage becomes. We've seen the truth. They cause all stress. They make excuses like self-defense. Yeah, right. It's in the water, it's in our hearts. Revolution, our ancient art. Fancy freedom, you'll have to work. No, not jobs, but scorching earth. There is no end until we rend. Excise this Just take our hand, we'll survive, my friends. Together we'll stand. We stand.
Fake.
No walls will hide you.
We know your names.
It's now or never.
So know your place.
We are the people. For justice, we will scream.
Face the facts, the blood still wet. Not a coup, we're way past that. We'll show them fear like never before. Millions strong, their chains left sores. It's in the water, it's in our hearts. Revolution, our ancient art. Fancy freedom, you'll have to work. No, not jobs, but scorching earth.
Until we rend, excise this cancer inside. No force will bend our will to spend our lives in peace and harmony. And if we fall, we'll rise again, a phoenix of their nightmares. Just take our hand, we'll survive, my friends. Together we'll stand. We stand.
That was Heater by Sin, this week's Outcast Anthem and Anti-Ice protest song. Please go and follow him on Instagram, official_Sin. It's Sin, SYYN. And go and check him out on your usual streaming platforms. Thank you to everyone who's been on this week's show. Thank you to all the artists for submitting. And I will see you real soon. You've been listening to the Master of Mischief on the Outcast frequency, broadcasting on Sonic Scout Radio worldwide. Thanks for listening, and see you all on next show.